Hi everybody, my name is Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches to build a business on your terms. And we always start with the buzz in our business. Our opening line really is, what is the buzz in your business? Well, technically it's hi everybody, but hey, it's all good. So we start with the buzz in our business, which is, we love to hear what the buzz is in your business. What's going on that's exciting, interesting, intriguing for your clients. Hi Joe, very nice to see you.
She's got a lot of buzz in her business.
Does she? Well, in that case, get typing, honey, get typing, because we really want to know what that is. So the buzz in our business, we'll do a bit of retrospective and a bit of what's coming up. It is the Easter holidays officially. So for those of you who have little ones or even slightly older than little ones, you're probably doing business differently and hopefully have accommodated that in some way, shape or form. There may well be some fun times and some play times kind of going on. And Kelly, what did you do at the weekend?
Did the Crystal Maze.
Oh, yes.
Dun, 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 dun. And we won, of course.
Yes, but not as spectacularly as when we did it together, right?
No, well, we got the same score, but it just wasn't as competitive because obviously we were doing it together.
Yeah, good point, well made. So I, on the other hand, went completely the other way, and I was doing a lot of learning around numerology. So for those of you who are kind of interested in the esoterics, I'm getting there, I'm catching up with you. Looking forward, and this is actually a really good time to do it because quarter one is done, we're in quarter two, so what are you actually kind of looking forward to? And we have two major things that we're certainly looking forward to, but that you could also be looking forward to. So how many of you here have actually been on a Connect and Create Day? Are you coming to the next one? It is on the 8th of May, and usually that's members of the Connection Hub who are, the people that you're meeting online, you get a chance to meet them in person. Now, the Connection Hub, for those of you who don't know, and Kelly's just put the link in, I know, is the place where the conversations take place. So where speakers, authors and coaches hang out, ask each other questions, share opportunities, ask, sort of favors and feedback, and, it's just a really buzzing place where you find out how to build a business, really.
And so supportive and so knowledgeable. I'm always blown away by the support and the knowledge in the group. We love you.
We do. And our job, just hold the space for it. And you guys make it just amazing.
Amy's online class was a huge success, so much that she's doing another one in May.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that. Amy, I always actually say that you should plan, and it's rare for me to use that word. You should always plan to do 3 of them. Once to really find out, kind of all the lie of the land. Twice to actually work out whether you like it, and third time, or work out what you can learn from it, and the third time to work out whether you like it so you can continue doing them. Or not, exactly, because that's on your terms. So we're glad that it worked brilliantly, and congratulations. The other thing that we're looking forward to is the retreat in June. So we run a Speaker Insight retreat for only 8 people, because it's kind of like 2 of us, 8 of the people in the room, and it is phenomenal. It's kind of business in a box type of thing. And so if you are at the point where you're kind of going, I just need to pull everything together and I just really want to explode my business, have a look at the Speaker Insight Retreat, because it is amazing. And the link is below, obviously.
I've got a couple more buzzes. So Joe's buzz, she's run a seed launch with the help of the wonderful Stephanie Bosch.
Yay!
Learnt loads from it, such a valuable thing to do. And then Stephanie then came on board, and the buzz in her business, she's delivered her first Ditch Your Mask workshop, and it was a great success.
Awesomeness. So there is a lot, like, honestly, and I think that's something to do with April and that spring energy that, like, people are just getting out there.
Out in our newsletter, we said to them,
that's how it works.
What are you going to create?
Have you read it yet? Have you read it? Have you opened it? It's very good. So now, here's the other thing for us again, and at this time of the year, the financial year comes to an end here in the UK. The new one is beginning. So we, inside the back of our business, are really kind of digging deep into the world of finance, insurance, and just kind of looking forward to sharing some of the insights and some of the learning that we're kind of gathering.
And some of the experts that we're dealing with to then go, okay, I know I put an insurance quote post up in the hub, and actually some people were commenting on there, and I want to get some experts in because there seem to be a lot of questions around insurance. And again, the similar thing for finance. People always go, okay, it's the end of year. How can I be doing this differently? How can I manage my finance better.
Yeah.
So we're gonna bring some experts into the hub and do some lives with them.
And we're quite excited about some of the things that they're teaching us,
Yeah.
and therefore teaching, sort of you, because really our job is, as we see it, is to make life as simple as you possibly can, so you can go out and be the change makers that you are. So, on that note, what we're talking about today, because I think we've had enough time for people to arrive.
They're just doing lots of love.
Having said that, though, are they doing lots of love for each other?
Yeah.
Which is great. So the one thing I will say is, if you have arrived and it's weeks and weeks later after we've done this, do a hashtag replay. We do like to know that you are actually in here, and don't be afraid to ask any of your questions. We will pick them up for you just because you're watching it at a different time. So please do that. So today is all about you making an instant impact. We are talking about opening lines, and we're really talking about how you make that first connection. Whether you're writing or speaking, it's all about your opening line setting the tone for what is to follow. So whether that is the first line of your book, that whole kind of, what's the first novel line that actually is in there? That was always an exciting one for me. So the first line of your book, it could be the email subject line, that first line that grabs their attention in that way. It could be the first thing that you say on stage. It's really your first line is setting the stage for the next line and the one after that. It's the line that warms them up to who you are, to what you might be talking about. It's the line that kind of excites them or makes them angry or makes them think in some way. And that's really important because it's part of you hooking them in so that you can actually educate them or tell them what's important to you, help enlist them into your cause, drive them towards your movement. Whatever it is your intention is, your opening line sets the tone for it. So you must grab the attention, right?
And it's also about that instant impact, isn't it? The impression. I don't know what the stat is. I think it's within the first 30 seconds or something. People make their mind up about you.
Yes.
When they've seen you or heard you, that instant reputation that you're going to get is coming from how you look, how you appear, but also what you say, right?
Exactly.
So that's why we want to make that thing have that instant impression.
Yeah. So you need to kind of be congruent at all of the levels. How you look, how you speak, what your tone is, and what the words are that kind of come out, because it's that welcome that you actually do. And you want to be efficient with your use of time. You don't want to have to scrabble to get them back. You want to catch them at the very first go, because that's nice and efficient. Maybe that's just an us thing.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Hook 'em, I tell him. Hook. Is that like right hook 'em?
No! Punch him in the face.
Oh, sorry. Hook them. Hug them in some way. Now, so you might well be aware. So we're going to talk a little bit. So one of us is going to look at opening lines when you're speaking. One of us is going to look at opening lines when you're writing. Because actually, I'm sure you've seen the stats on this. Only 20% of email headlines grab the attention of people. So they might scan it and grab attention, but only 20% of it. So you want to make it really good, because actually you've put time and effort into writing the words that go into the email that you actually want them to read. So the most important part is that headline. And we did do, we'll put a link in sort of later on, but or now. We did a brilliant interview with around copywriting and around first lines, specifically around this, with Alison Porter. So do go and watch that if this is of interest to you. But really, it's this whole thing of how do you make sure that what you have written is read? What you are putting out there in video is watched in some way. And of course, we are going to say this, your avatar is at the heart of everything around this. The words need to really resonate with them. They need to kind of be the thing that they're longing to hear and wanting to hear, and just give them that, oh, thank goodness you're doing that. So, even the titles of most of, when you look in our recordings directory of all of the trainings that we do, excuse me, they are hopefully the things that go, oh, it does what it says on the tin, and I need some of that. Thank you very much. So how do we get them to do that?
So, okay, a few more people coming on board. I want you to think about what you're currently working on at the moment. Okay, so whether that's your book, whether that's your marketing, whether that's a new talk, whether it's a sales page for a new product, think about how this opening impact line is going to make the impression, okay? So we could be, as Helena said before, you could be the first line of the book. It could be the first thing that you say on stage.
First thing.
The first sentence when you're doing networking and you're having to do that 60-second introductory pitch. What's the first line that you say there?
Yeah.
We've covered quite a lot about the subject email headline and what that's going to be, because if they don't like that, they're not going to read the rest of the email. They're not going to even open the email to see the copy that you've worked on.
Yeah.
What Helena said, what you call your Facebook Live, because that's actually going to grab the attention. People go, yes, I want that, I need that.
Yeah.
And also the statement or the heading of your sales page or your opt-in page to
Very
get that
much so.
attention, right? So think about which of those are you currently working on, and then let's apply some of the techniques and some of the advice that we're going to both go through today.
Yeah. And seriously, if you haven't got pen and paper by now, this is a goodie, I'm telling you, and you really should have it. What have we got?
Andrea, don't be a dick. I know this is what she wants to call her course. We were talking about it in the hub. So,
hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely got my attention, Andrea.
Yeah, to say the least.
So, so the purpose, as we said before, for any copy, but any sort of attention-grabbing one-liner, is to basically hone in on your avatar. You've got to be that thing where they're maybe reading a newspaper and they're hearing you come online, or you might see it come up on the newsfeed of Facebook, and you've got to instantly go, okay, you're basically saying what I want to hear.
Yes.
So you're tapping in to what is already on your avatar's radar, that they know that they want this, or that they know that they're looking for a solution for this. Okay, so that's going to initially prick their ears up, because they go, yeah, I was just Googling that the other day. And then once you've got their attention, because it's on their radar, then you want to create curiosity for them to read or listen or learn more. Okay, so you don't want to, I see so many people in their opening one-liner, which ends up being an opening paragraph, just go, blah, 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 right? And that's not the point of copy. Each line or each sentence that you say is supposed to encourage the reader to want to learn the next line, or want to read the next line of copy.
Or hear it.
Yeah. So you're just always unraveling this story really succinctly, but keeping them engaged all the way. And I know if you look at the live that we just put up with Alison, she goes through really good ways of doing that.
Yeah.
So what I want you to look at, though, initially, and we didn't cover this in that live, is that we see a lot of people going, oh, I've looked at other people's sales pages, or how people go on stage and go yes or yes and all this stuff, right? And you start seeing people copy other people.
Yeah.
And what we always teach in all of the things with Speaker Insight is that you are the heart of your business.
Yes, you are.
You're building it on your terms, and you're doing it your way. Right? So with this opening line, I don't want to lose your authenticity. I don't want you to lose your style, your personality, and become something that you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Don't, as soon as you go on a sales page and start writing the copy, become this sleazy salesman with like discount offers here and here, if that's not your style. Don't, when you're delivering on stage, and you're quite an introverted, quiet, geeky, talk about myself here, let's go on stage and attempt to become a Tony Robbins, this giant extrovert, there's a booming voice and larger than life. Don't try and be something that you're not, okay? The tactics that we're going to teach you is actually going, okay, let's try these different styles, these different ways in my own style, and see what gets the best reaction.
No cookie cutters whatsoever, right?
No.
You run you through you.
Yeah. So I'm going to cover a little bit of those who are thinking of working on something which is presenting wise.
Yeah, spoken.
So, maybe it's your Facebook Live, maybe it's an interview, maybe it's what you're doing in networking, maybe it's your speech, your talk, your keynote. So think about these ways that you could actually start those conversations, those presentations. These are different ways to try on, okay? So write these down. The first one is that you could pose a question as your opening line, right? What happens when you pose a question is automatically the audience is answering it in their head.
In their heads.
Even if you're not asking them to show their hands or anything. So you've got that immediate engagement with your audience because they're already applying what you're asking straight to them. Okay, so it makes the content already straight away about them.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got their attention. They're going, yeah, that's me.
One of the things I'm going to say about that is know the audience that you're speaking into. Know where your avatar is coming from that is sitting in that particular place, because you could ask a question in many different ways around the same topic. And it depends how you want them feeling. So you can ask a question that makes them think about their own situation. Yeah. You can ask a question about the wider world that might actually engage their emotions. So think about who they are and why they're in this particular audience. Are they there to specifically listen to you? Or are they there as part of a whole thing that's actually going on, maybe internally in a company or externally at a multi-speaker event in some way? Yeah. So think about who they are and pose your question. So don't just roll out the same talk is what we're saying.
Oh, God,
pose your question differently for what you know about the avatar and the audience.
100%. Yeah. And also, what do you want to invoke from that question? Mm-hmm. So the question you might ask them might actually put them in a bit of a scarcity mindset, thinking, I don't have that, I don't do that, I don't know that. So therefore they're in that I need to catch up, and they'll listen to you. Or it could be an empowering question where you want them to think of their long-term aspirations and get them to step into that feeling and that power of what they want. And you're going to say, well, I'm going to take you, the first step of that journey. Yeah. So think about what that question is doing for your audience and what energy is that bringing to your presentation straight off. And
I know I've said about this before. It's one of my favorite books. So Oren Klaff wrote a beautiful book called Pitch Anything. And what you're doing with your opening line is you're basically either putting, and this is also the chimp paradox, kind of, this land. You're either putting the croc brain, the kind of like the one that's looking for danger or boredom. You're either putting it to sleep and going, don't worry, there's nothing to be afraid of here, keep listening. Or you're actually going, it's looking for, oh my God, this is going to be so boring. So you're looking for the intrigue frame that actually kind of comes up with the question that you're asking.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I've just put the link to that Pitch Anything book down.
Oh, nice. She's so good.
So the next thing you can do, that's asking a question. The next thing you could do as a try it on and see how it works is your opening line could be a statistic, right? So just like Helena said that only 20% of email subject header lines are actually read. If you want to make a big statement and actually go, wow, this is a shocking stat for some people. Yeah. So I know Andrea is mentioning her stuff. If it was a stat around mental health, right? If you could say, look, we've got how many people in this room, 30% or 40% of you are currently suffering with some form of mental health issue. Yeah. Everyone's looking around and going, oh my God, that's probably going to be me, right? Yeah. So it's opening them up with some sort of shocking statistic that gets them thinking, that gives you permission to start talking a little bit more about that subject.
And there's also something about numbers. So when people hear a number, numbers are universal more than languages. So numbers actually cut through to something because they summarize and they actually kind of hone in on something. So they're actually easier for the brain to interpret and compare. And that's what creates the emotional context of, really? Or, hell's bells, not me. And I could go ruder, but I'm not going to.
And that, I was watching the Stand Up to Cancer stuff, and I physically knew that went down from 1 in 3 people get cancer to now 1 in 2. And I'm like, oh my God, that was shocking for me.
That's phenomenal.
It's like, shouldn't it be going the other way with research? But that's another topic. Okay, so share a statistic. The next thing is actually the first thing you can do is actually just state the problem. Yeah. Right? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, because so many people don't do that. They skirt around the edges and they touch on it a little bit.
Like that. Get in.
Powerful if you just stand up in a room and you go, this is never spoken about, but blah.
And you could, yes, Andrea, you could combine the two. So you could do a stat and the elephant in the room.
Yeah. So you could say
so you can mix and match all of these.
And that's the thing, right? It'd be like, there are this amount of people in this workplace that are suffering from mental health issues, and majority of workforces don't do anything about it until someone's committed suicide.
There it is.
That's the elephant in the room thing. So your people going, okay,
Right, it's going to be that kind of talk. Okay, good.
It's not going to be a soft skills talk.
And the thing about that is that you are then standing in the power of you with your stick of rock, running through everything, and you're able to actually be a stand for the message that you have. And that is really powerful. It's refreshing a lot of the time, and people actually go, wow, this is authentic, and I'm going to continue to listen. Because remember what Kelly said, it's simply about, are they continuing to listen with every line that you're then subsequently speaking from the opening line? So, other opening lines then.
So the next thing you can potentially do is to get them to do something from the beginning, right? This is what we, in workshops, I do it a lot, and Helene does it with icebreakers.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard to do that in a talk or with you guys doing the live. We do ask you to tell us what the buzz in your business is. So we're getting you to do something, but sometimes the doing thing is normally quite good if it's physical.
Yeah.
So if you are at one of those multi-speaker events and they've been sitting for 3 hours, then before you start going into it, just get them to stand up and shake or say something to the next person. So,
but don't do it in a yucky way, like you've seen so many people kind of do it. Like make it work for you again in your style, right? Like if you're not a high five person, don't get people to high five each other
or hug.
Good point, well made.
So shift the energy a little bit if you need to. The other thing you could do is you could actually provide some intrigue.
Yeah.
So the way to do this is actually, it's going back to what I said a little bit before, it's actually tell them where they're going to be by the end of your talk, or by the end of your session, right? So what's the outcome? What they're going to walk away feeling, being, doing when they've listened to this? Because you're basically saying, you got to go the whole journey with me. You've got to be in the room, you've got to have your radar on, you've got to listen all the way through, and you're going to get this at the end.
Yeah.
Or you could basically pose yourself as the illustration of what they could be. So
how did X become Y?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to say, this is what it looks like at the end, and the rest of this talk I'm going to teach you the how.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to put that intrigue up there for people to go, I really want what they've got or what they're saying that I can have, and I'm going to listen. So get their buy-in because there's something in it for them.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is really straightforward. For people who are very, again, knowing your avatar in the room, for people that need structure and detail, then potentially the first thing you do, is actually frame up what is going to happen. Yeah. So I'm going to be on stage for 30 minutes, we're going to do this, or whatever. If you need to go to the toilet, do it now, because in the next 5 minutes, we're just going to do this icebreaker thing.
That's it.
So you just frame it up for them, but you also tell them how you're going to do it, what you're going to do, and what they're going to get at the end.
It's like a little logistical bit that makes people relax because they actually know and understand what's coming. Yeah. So again, you're putting the croc brain to sleep. They're like, oh, right, okay, I got this. I'll just go to sleep. You pay attention. Yeah.
So if you've got a whole room of creatives, you don't need to do that, right?
Please don't do that.
They just want to be in the moment and have fun. But if you've got like a whole load of me's in the room, then I want structure.
Yeah, completely.
I probably want it the day before.
Yeah, you can't. Honey, you want it about a week before.
Okay, so what we've done so far, we've done pose a question, share a statistic, state the elephant in the room or the problem, get them to do something, provide some intrigue, frame up what's about to happen. Yes. The other thing about it is what you could do is you could tell them something true about them.
You could be a witch. You could be like a witch.
Well, I am, but
anyway. I know.
So this isn't like clairvoyancy stuff. No. But if you've done some work with the organisation beforehand, and maybe you've done some sort of psychometric testing with them or some insight with the SLT team, and you've actually gone, look, I've been speaking to your managers, and I know that the majority of you have got a really high entropy score or whatever. Yeah. So therefore, I know that you guys are wasting time and energy and you're not aligned. And I'm going to basically spend the next 3 hours with you, helping you to get back on track. Yeah. Then they're like, oh my God, she knows something about me that I don't know. And I want to know how I can rectify this. Yeah.
Or the flip side of that is, and when I say be a witch, I actually mean it like this. We get a lot of this coming, sort of when people come up and speak to us after something or even during these lives. It's like, how do you know that about me? Well, that's because we did the work on the avatar, right? Yeah. So one of the ways to actually tell them something true about them, if you're not doing something internally, if you're not actually kind of basing it on the facts around an organization, but you are going to a multi-speaker event, etc., the more you know your avatar, and we're always going to bang on about that, the more you know them, the easier it is for you to actually say something true about them, even though you don't know them.
Yeah. like those sweeping statements that you know that most of your avatar always say it all the time, and you know that it's going to apply.
So you're like in my head. How does that work?
Sarah's saying some creative people like structure too.
Yeah, we agree. We agree tremendously, Sarah.
So, okay, so we've got 2 more to go. So the next thing you could do is tell a story, right? I know that you were at Andrew Eggleton's workshop last weekend?
It was the weekend before.
Yeah.
Anyway, something like that. So I was learning.
He teaches a lot about storytelling in his presenter training.
Yeah.
And we all love to be told a story.
Yes.
Right? And I know Dilys is watching, and she's known as a storyteller salesperson because all of her sales stuff are told in stories.
Yeah.
And she's got everyone like this and listening to really educational sales information because it's in a story form.
That's it.
And again, it puts people in that listening mode, but relaxed, as you said. If you go, I'm going to tell you a story, people are like, oh, okay, let me get my cocoa and my biscuits.
Like,
and
come on then, I'm ready for you.
So tell a story that's going to take your user on a journey. It's going to connect with them emotionally. But that's a great way to actually engage and get their attention straight away by saying, hey, I'm going to open this up by, first of all, just telling you a story. Yeah. Okay. And then the people have got that mindset that they're nothing scary. They're going to learn a bit. They're going to have some fun. And
sometimes you don't even need to you don't even need to tell them. You just launch into the story because people change as soon as they realize they're in a story. Yeah. And it takes one line to do it. Yeah. It's that opening line.
And it could be, once upon a time.
Oh, my word.
And then that's your opening line, right?
I met this girl called Kelly.
And my life is never the same.
It's so true. It's so true.
Okay, so the last one we've got as different ways to actually do it from a speaking perspective is start with something unexpected, right? Especially if you are at one of these multi-speaker events where everyone starts the same and actually by the 10th speaker you are wanting to kill yourself. So when I was in Iceland last week with my husband who was doing a gig, I won't give away too much, but what we do when he first comes on stage is the whole room goes black. And then only thing that you can hear is the Phantom of the Opera music, because that's what he was on. He was Phantom in Phantom of the Opera. And then the lights come up after that, and after there's a bit of a show reel, and he comes on stage. Now, people don't expect, one, for the room to go black. They think, is something going on?
What's happening?
You know? Then they hear this music, which is so loud, and then they're there, right? They're like, what the heck am I doing at a business conference with Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah.
So it's really unexpected, okay? So think about how can you make a really powerful, if it's right for your avatar, introduction, or how can you do something that is completely like not what they expect. Yeah. I know I've said it before where some of the speakers that I used to manage have like used magic as their analogy, and they come on and they do a magic trick and you're like, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's like, but more than anything, it kind of puts people in an open frame. And what you want is for people to be open. Like, it's not called an opening line for nothing, you know.
Nice.
Like, I was saving that one just for you. Like, because it's your opening line, i.e. your first line, but it is an opening hearts and minds to the message that you have. And so, you know, whilst we're jovial about it, we're really serious about this because unless you get the attention of people, you really won't have the opportunity to change hearts and minds, to actually be the change maker that you know you are. So we are actually, you know, whilst we're doing this with lightness, we are hugely serious about this. So that kind of segues into my bit, which is about, listen, your opening lines are there to make them feel. At the end of the day, it is there to grab attention, and 9 times out of 10, attention can be in the head, but it can also be in the heart. So your opening lines need to, you know, sort of like, if you think about the emotional context of some of those, you could outrage people. And I need to be careful not to sing Hamilton when I say that. So, but for those of you who know what I'm talking about, I'm singing that at the back of my head right now. So you could outrage people, like by saying one of those stats that Kelly was just talking about. You could get people really excited. It's like, oh my word, what a ride we're about to take. You could enrage people. So you could actually kind of get them angry on behalf of something. You could intrigue people, as Kelly was just saying, you know, sort of like, so there's this little curiosity kind of thing. So, and you can make people laugh. You can kind of use humor. You can make them feel anything with your opening line. So my question to you, and of course I'm going to draw your attention to the 4 intentions every time. My question to you is how do you want them to be feeling right at that very beginning? Because your opening line, written well, whether it's read or whether it's spoken, will help them to feel. You create the feeling with the line that you're actually saying.
Set the tone, don't you?
You do, and that's what we're really talking about.
Dilys is just saying that she's been coaching a private client, and he said, your teaching is so clear and easy to follow, your stories.
There it is.
The stories bit, right?
There
That's
it
what
is.
her USP is.
And you can put your teaching into the story. So it's not that the story just comes out. It is okay to craft it. We're talking about crafting your lines. I'm currently talking about crafting the emotion, the line, so that it invokes the emotion that you actually want. So whilst Kelly's spoken a lot about, like, they are interchangeable,
yeah.
but really you've been speaking about kind of spoken open lines. I'm going to talk a little bit about the written open lines with this caveat of, or everything needs to make them feel. So it's all good. Like, some of you might be freaking out right now. Just stay with me. It's all good. So here's the thing. When you are writing an opening line, seriously, get the first draft out. Like, just write the opening line, because it sets the context for what else. Don't try and get it perfect first time, right? Because it's going to drive you insane and you're just going to lose touch with it. So start with an opening line and then tweak it afterwards. Because once you've written the content, you go, hang on a minute, I've remembered a little bit more about my avatar. I've thought about this a little bit more. Actually, if I come at it from this perspective, that is what I'm talking about. So your opening line also has to be a match to the content that's in there, but it needs to be exciting or outraging, engaging, whatever it is, right? One of the things we love, and there are several of these out there, but I really like this one, so Kelly's going to pop a link into it, is CoSchedule do this headline analyzer. And, once you've got the content and once you've got your first draft line, then you can test out just how impactful your written line actually is. Like, how helpful is that?
I love it. I really love it.
It's so good. And they will tell you the emotional context of it and the words that you're using that are really special and all of that. And there are several of these tools around. It just happens to be that I quite like this one.
And it's
nice
free.
and visual. And it's free.
It's free.
Oh, we've got to love a little bit of free. Now, back to emotions a little bit. Power words. Power words are really there to punctuate and get the attention of people. If you think about it, it's the words that you can't resist being influenced by. They evoke by their very nature an emotional response in people. So, use power words. And then people are going to be sitting there going, yeah, that's all well and good, but like, what are they? Like, how does that work? My favorite tool, and I've been looking at this since about 2015, and it got updated at the start of this year. So the guy who wrote it, all kudos to him. We are going to share the link. He's got 700 words, but I'm going to summarize it for you a little bit and pick my favorites that are kind of coming out. But these you can use word sources, directories, or just this article.
You just need this.
Just this article, because it really is. We did the work for you, and kind of honestly, it's just so good. Because you can get stuck when you're writing about the words, but really there are a few different emotions that you can kind of play with or use within your headlines, within your written lines that really grab attention. So I'm just going to go through some of those, but the 700 words that fall into these categories, like, they're worth a look, right? So everyone stop paying attention. Did you just put the link in?
Yeah,
I should have made you not. Like, come back.
Summarising for you, right?
So the first one of those is you could appeal, because what this is about is appealing to the state that someone's in when they've got the problem. So we're always going to talk about the avatar. So what you're doing is your headline is going to speak to the state or the problem that someone actually has that they either want to get away from or that they want to move towards in that way. So the first one of those is greed. And what I mean by that is, we all want more than we need. We've all got a bit of FOMO. So, these are the ones that appeal to the kind of scarcity in you. And they're words like, it's a bargain, or it's running out, or the offer's closing, or it's a gift, it's a prize, it's the best, it's final. Those words written in a line make people go, And so there's something around that, isn't there?
Oh my God, as soon as you see bargain, right?
You get why we both started with that one, right? So greed is one of them. Curiosity, we've talked a lot about it. I'm a big fan of intrigue in that way. So curiosity is really around an urge that needs to be satisfied. You know, as soon as you pique someone's curiosity, that's it. It's in there. It's like an earworm. You know, when you hear that, that's both of us do. That's weird. It's just weird. I love you. So things like hush hush. It's like there's a sneak preview. It's like top secret or
exclusive.
Yes, all of those, you know. So that makes you feel special, but it also makes you want to know. So these are all the words that make you want to know something. And they can be really brilliant in your opening lines because, of course, people now have to pay attention because they want to know, right?
And that sort of goes a little bit on the scarcity and the FOMO, doesn't it? Because if something's top secret or exclusive, the fear of missing out, which is what FOMO means, is also is what that means. It sort of coincides.
That's right.
So I like both of them.
No, it's good. And of course you can marry them in this way, and that's exactly it. And so you can start getting really finessed. So we've done greed, we've done curiosity, sloth. I do feel like I'm actually doing the 7 sins at the moment. But that's really not what it is. Sloth is kind of like anything that is the avoidance of work. You know, we all kind of want it easy. If we're really, really kind of honest with ourselves, comfort and ease is something that we're going for. So anything that, you know, a piece of cake, it makes it easy, it's instant, it's efficient, it's now. You know, actually, do I want to be 2 stone lighter right now? Yes, I do. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to start paying attention.
That the 4-hour work week would have used in the sales copy for that book,
right? Completely. And so you get that idea that, what's she saying?
Oh, there's lots of people. We've busted Amy. Obviously, she uses this tool, right? Andrea's a girl fan of us because she thinks we know our stuff.
That's good.
It's all good. People are loving it.
Oh, good. I'm pleased. Right. Okay. So greed, curiosity, sloth. I like this next one, and take me seriously when I say it, right? Lust. And I don't mean necessarily like where your minds are going right now. You know, it's like, yeah, of course it did. Of course it did. But there's this whole, like, we all want to look good. We all want to look successful. We want to present our best face. And anything that allows us to do that uses kind of lusty words in that way. So it's this whole, you know, I want someone to see me as smart and strong and possibly attractive, but brilliant, most certainly, you know, effective, structured. Well, maybe structured isn't a word, but hey, I just squeezed that one in there.
Sex sells.
Exactly. Sex does sell, and that's how it works, right? So again, avatar dependent, you know, go to where you actually want to go. But remember that kind of this urge actually can be used to sell what you want to sell, make them kind of pay attention to that opening line. The next one, kind of related, vanity. Vanity. Because again, and it's this whole, we want to look good, but there's also, so with lust, it's more of an intense desire, right? You know, it's something that we really, really do want. With vanity, it's more of a, exactly.
Vanity's external.
Exactly. Yeah. So the two of them kind of go together, so you can see how they work together. And so, you know, ultimate, magic, effective, those kinds of things. We want to be seen to be these things.
Acknowledged.
Exactly. So it's really good. Trust. Trust is another one. So we've had greed, curiosity, lust, vanity. The next one is trust. And by this one, we're really kind of, this is where you present yourself as the trusted advisor, where there's proof that, you know, it's accredited, it's approved, it's reliable, it's guaranteed, it's the best, it's been tested, you know, all of those.
And insensitive subjects.
Exactly.
Right? Like going back to Andrea, going about the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
It's that would I trust you with the confidence?
Yeah,
you know,
the
privacy, the fact of actually you get me.
Yeah.
But will I put my trust in you?
Yeah, completely. And so you are, with your opening line, helping them to trust you or trust the system that you're about. You know, so if you were using Kelly's kind of, you know, stating the problem. Or you were doing actually, I'm just going to go straight in and give you some value straight away. Here's what we're going to talk about. What you want to do is you want to contextualize that so that they trust that you know what you're talking about.
But let me also highlight on that, the words that Helena were just using there was like guaranteed, reliable, best, tested. What are they all related to? Results.
And credibility.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can prove the results
That's it.
and saying that these are guaranteed, you're going to lose this amount of weight or you're going to have this much turnover or this is proven and tested, this is what most people get, an average increase of their sales from blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, I agree.
then this is what they're looking for.
And I'm going to freak you out right now, or freak out the dog potentially. He's really distracted me. That's really quite funny. I'm used to him not actually doing that. So no. What I was going to say about that was that actually for a lot of you, you probably don't track your results, and it can be as simple as the consistency scores of, you know, how people rate your workshops or that kind of thing on a regular basis. Please start tracking your numbers, because as we said before, numbers get attention.
Yeah.
And so part of trust is using the numbers, if that makes sense. But anger, as Kelly was just highlighting, anger is another one where whether it's anger directed at something or someone else that gets them on board with you, or that actually taps into the fact that they are angry about a situation that is actually in there. So your opening line could invoke those feelings of anger. And you know, so again, you know, annoying, arrogant, bullying, smug, even to the extent of hate, you know, kind of using that, you know, don't you just hate X, Y, or Z, could be appropriate. But again, it's all avatar appropriate, right?
Yeah, it is. And that's about the rants that you get in, the
completely
fire
agree.
in the belly, the things that are across of your values. And if you want to get people that are on board the way that you want to think, or the way that you act and you do,
join my movement.
Then it's basically, if you feel like this,
that's right.
Then you know you're feeling smug about this situation,
or you give them an opening line that is designed to actually kind of make them angry in some way, that could contain some of these words, but certainly the feeling of anger is actually in there. And the last one, and it is not a least one, is fear. You know, something that kind of stirs up the emotions, that really kind of that puts a little bit of fear into people. You know, the thing that taps into the thing that they're afraid of might actually happen. It's like the hidden kind of piece inside their heads. So, you know, being made look a fool of. You know, you don't want to look foolish. Surely you want to grab this in combination with that scarcity one that we were talking about earlier on.
And maybe the vanity one.
Completely, you know. So words like danger, or for some of you, trauma might actually be another one of them. Stupid, that would push my button entirely. Panic. Those kinds of words will evoke a certain state around fear, and what they could necessarily, it might well be that you're actually saying, you know, things not to be afraid of, how not to be afraid of them, but you're actually talking about the opening line in that way. So we're saying, go use the tool. Seriously, go and read this article. It is a beautifully written article. Never mind.
Great examples.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. If you want to know how good blogs are written, like that informational blogs, how-to blogs, this one is absolutely on the money, and it's full of resourcefulness. So I've just given you a little kind of picture, if you like, of what some of those things are that evoke emotion. Because what we're really saying here is the opening line gets attention, partly because you're talking to the head, but actually you're talking to the head and heart. That's the thing that makes them click, or makes them sit up and go, yes, you're talking to me. I'll continue to listen. Thank you very much.
So Stephanie's posted a great link from Brené Brown, who published a list of core emotions.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
Again, people can refer
nice,
to that.
thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Taruna said, I do a reflexive practice at the end of my mentoring session, so I get immediate feedback. It can feel vulnerable, but so far I've had positive feedback.
Beautiful.
It's great, so then you can get that immediate response from people. And then think about how then you can use that with your next client when you open up to go, oh, I've just had this client.
Interestingly enough, I love that, Taruna, because I kind of do the same at the end of all of my coaching sessions.
Yeah, you ask what the questions you ask.
So I always say, what did you like best? And what was most valuable to you? And both of them are actually person-centered. They might sound like they're me-centered, but they're really person-centered, because people recommit to things as a result of actually doing it. What I love most of all, though, is that the thing that I hear more than anything, and I do need to do the updated stats on it for this year, is you just get me. That, when, you know, like honestly, 98% of my coachees at some point in time have said,
Yeah.
You just get me.
And it's really similar. Andrea posted this morning in the Connection Hub. She goes, is there a subject you guys haven't done a video on? I'm like, of course there is. But also we know the key ones that you guys need and you want, because we know you so well, we get you. And obviously from doing this over a year, we've got like a year's worth of training which you guys access. So now the stuff that we teach from year 2 onwards are like the next level up. We've covered most of the foundational stuff.
That's it.
We're going more into tactics now. So,
but as people come along, that what we know is that we serve people to build a business on your terms. And we love, I'll say it again, I say it all the time. We don't teach speakers how to speak. We don't teach authors how to write. We don't teach coaches how to coach. But we do help you put the foundations in the business so you can go out and do those things and change the world.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Let's get back to copy, because I'm looking at...
Then.
45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the thing that we want to do from today, as we said before, think about what you're working on, whether it's a book, whether it's a sales copy, whether it's your keynote, whatever it is, and then test out some of these different one-liners, the opening up sentences, so that you can actually see what's the engagement and what's the response that you're getting, which performs better, what did you feel more natural doing?
That bit too,
So that you can actually have it. But what we would like you to think about is we want you to be flexible.
Yes.
Okay? So have a couple of different openings up for your keynote. Have a couple of different openings up for your networking.
Yeah.
Because you need to read the room.
Yeah.
Right? You need to read the scenario, and you need to tap into the emotion of your avatar at that time. Or if somebody else has asked a question on the first thing they've done in the multi-speaker event, and you're the next speaker up, please don't ask a question. Okay? Do something different, break the energy, tell a story. So you've got to have those things in your backpack of different ways to open those lines up so you can practice this.
Yeah.
We would highly recommend that you do a little bit of research.
Yes.
So have a document where we'd call it like a swipe file. So maybe go and have a look at all the TED Talks that you like. How have they named those TED Talks?
And what's their opening line?
Yeah.
So actually do it, like even if you just did that for 10 of your favorite TED Talks, you will begin to get a sense of how it works best for you.
Because the majority of you, as we say normally you are your avatar a few steps down the line. So what resonates with you in the style is more than likely going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
So do some research. If you're getting some emails in your inbox and you like the subject header, then swipe it, copy it. Not for you to use exactly the same, but have a document of all this there so you can go, oh, that's a great way of positioning that question, or I really like that. That made me want to click more.
Let someone else do the thinking for you. I mean, come on,
Yeah. So just have some sort of resource. It's a working document, whether it's a Google Doc or something, that you can grab things, screenshot them, put them in there, and then when you go back to writing your next bit of copy or your next keynote, you can refer back to them.
Because this is one of those things that you are always going to be writing opening lines. You are always, whether you're writing them to speak them or whether you're writing them, you're always going to be making a first impression on somebody somewhere. So the biggest thing we can say is be congruent, be a stick of rock, let the message run through you and from you.
Yeah, and just do it your way. I know when we're talking about subject, I mean, I do swipe files all the time, and there was one a few years ago where somebody got such a great open response rate because they went, oops, I messed up.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they said that they put the wrong link.
Oh my God, I remember this.
And then literally anyone in the marketing world ended up sending out emails with that subject title of oops, I've messed up. And you're like, okay, just be authentic,
That's right?
Be imaginative, because then you're not standing out because everyone else is doing it.
Truly, it's like, oh, look, I'm being marketed at.
Yeah.
That's not the impression you want to make, right?
So have them as inspiration, but do it your way.
And on that note, we're going to shut up because otherwise we'll be here for another hour. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.